One great man means a great family, a great neighborhood, a better city, community, state, and the world. The question is, if not you, then who?
The first sales team I built outside of the gyms, right? So when I was at LA Fitness, the core competency I had was team building and scalability and making things simple, whether it's a sales presentation, building value in a tour or whatnot. So very quickly, the leadership there had found out that we can take Travis and put him in a gym that's not performing well. Culture sucks, leadership sucks, the team is just, ad-libbed, and he'll pull a team together, create structure, and we can pull him out and they'll run itself. So very quickly they found that out and they hopped me around DFW at a couple different clubs, and I got recruited out of that environment through the energy efficiency opportunity. It's 100% commission, but it's like, hey, you can, if you do it and you bet on yourself, you can make money. 10. Right now, you're doing about 10K a month at LA Fitness. You can do 20 to 30K. I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can. It's like, all right, well, show me. And he did. He gave me the opportunity, and I got to a point where I was making 22, 28K a month, and I was like, okay. So the company I was with, they've been around about 14 years, doing on average about 1.2. I went there, and my first year, I think I did about 1.5 myself. I'd say a good 40% of that was self-generated business. Put myself in network market, or not network marketing, but networking groups and
B&I groups
and just relationship building and everything. From there, it was, hey, we want to offer you a sales manager position, right? And that looked like I need to build a team.
Yeah.
And I need to train them. And they may not be doing what I'm doing, but what can they do? Like, there was a point in time where I had 4 guys on the team, and we'd be going through quarterly numbers, and I would have more than all 4 put together.
Wow.
And I had to learn, like, that's great, and I have some sales ability that they don't, but what is it? And I got to figure out, how do I pass this down to them? Like, how do I teach them where their gaps at? Like, I need to fill these, because if I had 4 guys doing at least 80% of what I'm doing, then as a team, we go here, right? And that's a pivotal point, I think, for any entrepreneur or sales-minded person, is they get to a point where they don't want to pass on that secret sauce or those traits, because they don't want to be competing for.
There's fear.
Yeah. And
Scarcity mindset.
I never had that ego in that aspect, because the military and SWAT kind of beat that out of me.
It's all team.
Right? It's all team, and it's ready to lead, ready to follow. And it's very much like, hey, if I'm a better shot than you, but you're in my stack, let's go to the range, because you're the one that's going to be taking shots to defend me. Right? So it's the same concept that I was able to pull into the whole entrepreneurial journey.
That's good.
So that first year building the sales team that they gave me that opportunity, we went from 1.2 to 6.5 mil.
Dang. What's up?
It was great. It was a fun ride. But it was a different culture than what they had. Right? They had a very homey, same office manager for 14 years. We were doing a lot of competitions and a lot of team outings, and hey, we hit our goal for the quarter. We're going to go race Ferraris, whatever, right? So sales, you got to work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
And I got ready. I was getting ready to bring on another 3 to 5 guys, and I also brought the competitor to the table to be bought out through relationship and what have you. And I went to the owners and said, what's it look like to get a seat at the table? Like 1%. How do I earn it? It wasn't asking for anything. I was like, kind of scaled your company to a pretty good number. And about to bring on another 3 guys. We can realistically, if we look at these projections, take this to 10 plus mil annually. And it's a 40% margin profit, like bottom line at the end of the day. So the interesting part was that conversation led to not interested in that. Matter of fact, some of the office is not liking how much fun y'all are having. Basically, they feel,
how dare you make money?
Yeah, and they feel like they're not included. It's like, well, I mean,
sales is lifeblood.
Yeah, for sure. And the owner was very much like, I'm paying some of these guys 20, 30 grand a month, and I write myself a 7K check. It's like, well, it's your business. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
And it's because you're writing them those checks that they're bringing in this revenue. So, long story short, the opportunity I was asking for got quashed. The competitor at the table now we're not interested, and we actually need to take you out of the sales manager position, put you back in the field, and we need you to let 3 people go. We want to scale this back to about 3 to 5 mil.
Wow.
And we know we can do that just by putting you in the field with a couple of the guys you have.
Yeah.
And we can let so-and-so, which was the ops guy, run the team. I was like, interesting.
That is not a growth mindset owner or company.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I called up the competitor and had a conversation of, hey, you're doing $750 annually and you're doing all the work. He was selling and installing, and said, would you like the keys or the answers to the test? Like, you were just looking for a buyout here by this company. I'm interested in rolling. What's that look like? Yeah. And he was very interested.
Of course.
Brought a buddy of mine to the table that had the capital, and we talked a conversation of, he was going to infuse X amount of capital. They were going to do 50-50, and they're going to split 5 points a piece to me, earn out, gatewayed over, call it 5 up front vested, and another 2.5 each year for the next 2 years off of numbers.
Yep.
Like, cool, let's go. I didn't have any money at the time. I mean, I was a cop turned sales turned learning business.
Yeah. And
we did. We went from $750 annual. He'd been around for about 8 years.
Okay.
And we were on pace for a $3 million a year. And it was about 6 months of, well, attorneys this, we're waiting on that, paper this, and it was just always the runaround.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the buddy I brought to the table was in Bora Bora every 45 days, and I'm running the company. And I was like, yeah, I don't need this. Yeah. Like, I could probably go do this without y'all. So we were using the same crews the other company was using, right? It's just a marketing game at the end of the day. So I said, I'm gonna go bet on me. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And that was 2019. I did that. Did about it was like 970 or so in sales on my own. I net about 350.
Not bad.
And took 100K of that. There's a God story there, but took 100K of that, bought that first iCryo, and from there I said, like, I just told you the journey of I was trying to find a seat at the table, which very much tied to the childhood thing, right?
Yeah. Now you built your own table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't exist. I'm gonna go build it.
Yeah.
So I've got people like Miles you've met, entry level positions. Now, after a year, you're open to stock options in the company, and the vision is employee-owned company. Y'all run it, I don't, and I'm just creating opportunities for leaders to develop and grow. So there's the tribal aspect, but there's also the ownership and value and reaping what you sow.
I love that, man. I love that. And that's such a good lesson that anybody listening really needs to anchor down is in your seasons of life when you're first developing your skill set, you need to earn a seat at the table, 100%. Like, you have to be able to put in the work, be humble, be teachable, be coachable, be willing to follow the SOPs, but also be paying attention to the things you like and dislike, because at some point you need to build your own table. Because the areas where you find the biggest gap in the companies that you're working for, man, I would run it differently yourself. Great, go run it differently, because you can go be that guy to actually create some really positive, powerful change that is going to make things better. And that same rule applies to every domain, your relationships, your future marriages, your friendships, everything else. If you don't like the way something is, learn the lessons you can in the seasons and then go reapply them and develop a table where you can create an infinite opportunity.